Hello, gorgeous warrior women. Karen McCoy here, and I just want to share this quick tidbit with you. I want you to consider working differently, not harder, when it comes to a body transformation. Okay? So a lot of times I see women doing over and over and over again, and they think that they need to cut more calories, or they need to do more cardio, or they need to train harder. Does some of that stuff need to apply? Sure, but actually not as much as you think. What I see is women just work so hard and they think they need to do more to be more, and it's not true. So there needs to be a balance between what you're doing and what the results are that you're getting. And what I see is too many people are in the same trendy workouts, the same trendy diets, the same trendy fasting and detoxes, all that kind of stuff. More information isn't transformation. It's just more information and a whole bunch of different ways of doing things. But it doesn't mean that it's necessarily going to get us to our results, because a lot of women coming to me are personally, they're info junkies. They have so much information. They're reading way more than I ever could. They know more about influencers than I do. And it's like, why? Because one woman said to me, well, I don't want to miss anything. There might be something I missed. There's nothing you're missing. You're missing time out in the gym and time out managing your food in a calm, real manner. That's what's missing here. But the trying harder and harder and harder is that perfectionism. It's the people pleaser. It's the giver. It's all those archetypes that we, were brought up with as young girls, and we somehow manage to get the feeling that we're not enough. So we got to try harder. We got to do harder. We got to be seen. We got to, and it's like, it's crazy. It really is about doing differently. What if you could get a beautiful body transformation? We're talking body transformation. Well, we could be talking about anything. We could be talking about making more money or better relationship, better career. What if you could get it with less toil and more ease? Now, I'm not saying you don't have to work hard if you want to get, if you want to move up in your career, for example. Of course, right? That's part of it. But we end up spinning our wheels because we think we're not doing enough. And we are not human doings. We are human beings. And sometimes we need to back away in order for things to come in and support us. So this is where I work a lot with metaphysics and energetics and vibration and all that woo stuff that is out there and most people don't understand. But it's like gravity. If you jump from a building and you don't understand it, you're still going to hit the ground. So that's to understand the big energetic forces at work, the universal laws. They're there, they're happening, and they're there to support you. And one of the laws is doing less. Seriously. Doesn't mean slacking off. It doesn't mean being lazy. Doesn't mean not working hard for what you want. But there has to come a point where it's almost like an exercise in trust. That, and I had this in my business where I kept pushing. And really it was because I wasn't trusting that clients would find me. I wasn't trusting I was getting my message out there. I wasn't trusting that they might like me and they might like my approach. And I kept thinking I needed to do more. I need to do more emails. I need to do more posts. I need to do more videos. And it was just, right? And it was frenetic energy. And that's what I was living in. And that was creating its own belief system, because that's what happens is whatever you're doing is creating and supporting your belief system that I need to do more to be more. And it's not true. So consider you need to do differently. And that is getting out of your comfort zone. And that is why it's hard, because we're not wired to step outside of our comfort zone. We're not wired to come from a family of hard workers and say, I really don't have to beat myself to the bone here. Although you guys did, I think I can do it differently. Are you kidding me? It's like we'll be divorced from the family. Or we have a belief system that's so ingrained in us that if we don't work 50, 60 hours a week, we're not going to get there. And it's not true. And so this is where we've got to take the foot off the gas pedal a little bit and learn to trust and allow. And that is where, hi Ozzy, that is where we learn to live in flow versus resistance. there is a point where we have to push in order to move the needle, to move into those places where we want results, whether it's a great body, a great career, great relationship, yes. But there is a difference between moving the needle and spinning your wheels and staying in one spot. So if you're not successful or not happy in your body transformation, find a coach that does things differently, right? We're out there. There's not a lot of us because the majority likes to follow the crowd, and the majority is all doing the same thing. And I look at it and go, it's not what women over 40 need. It's actually not what they want. They think they want it because everybody else is doing it. And I always say, if everybody else is doing it, it's a good reason to not do it. That's my philosophy. I've always been a lone wolf. I've always been on the periphery, following the beat of my own drum and getting great results and loving life because I'm not following like the sheeple, following everybody else. And there's a lot of trainers, a lot of coaches that are doing everything because everybody else is doing it. I remember going into a show. I started doing shows before some of the coaches were even alive. My first show I was 29, so that was in 1989. And it was way before all the craziness now. Everything was just about eating whole foods, eating your carbohydrates, eating your protein, hydration, training, sleep, all that stuff. It was basic. I still do that today. And I feel really good and I'm really healthy in my 60s. But what I see is when I was 53, I did my last show and I thought, I'll get a coach for this one. Sure. Let's see what's out there as far as coaching. Well, it was all of a sudden, you got to carb deplete, you got to carb load, you got to water deplete, you got to water load. And so I did two shows, one at 52 and one at 53. So in my 52, I'm like, okay, I'll just listen to the coach, whatever she says, let's just try this stuff. And then it was like, drink this electrolyte before you go on stage and blah, 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 all this stuff. And you can't brush your teeth with toothpaste and you can't have any carbs and you gotta, okay. So I did, and I did well. And then a year later, I went back into show and I thought, I'm just going to do it my way. The day of the show, I'm eating pancakes with almond butter. I've got cream in my coffee and everybody's like, oh, no. I came in second with no age class. My body was better and it was stronger and tighter just because I wasn't doing what everybody else was doing. I was just sticking to the knitting, sticking to the basics. Was I conscientious? Yeah. Was I sticking to what I needed to do? Absolutely. I mean, there was nothing loose about it at all. I knew what to do, but the basics are in there. And I don't want to follow the crowd because it just makes you dull, I think. And I like uniqueness, and I like to use a lot of mental, motivational stuff as well, not coming from a coach or the outside world, but coming from me and my world, my invisible world, my spirits and my guides, if you will, all that weird kind of stuff. It's out there and it's happening and it's very, very important to me. So consider doing it differently. This is what I always say, consider finding somebody who's living the life that you want at your age. So if you're a woman 40, 50, 60, find somebody that could mentor you, that inspires you. A lot of my best coaches, and I don't have a lot of them, I have the people that help me in business. I have people that help me with mindset. I have my metaphysical teacher. I have two of them. I've had them for like 30 years because they're important to me and they know me. And that's the other thing with any kind of coaching is you've got to have a long-term commitment. My best clients are the women that have been with me for years because I come to know them. I come to know their bodies. I come to know their tendencies. I come to know where they slip up, right? That is an investment that you just simply can't buy, guys. You can't buy it. That investment in time in a relationship is super, super important. And I see so many people going back and forth between coaches, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And it's because they lack trust, they lack vision, and their coach perhaps is not at a place where it's going deep into who they are. This is not just a physical thing, guys, okay? We are not just physical. I think you know that by now if you've been hanging around me. So anyways, find somebody that inspires you. Find somebody that can help you to up level all the time. That is what we need. We need inspiration. We need to have that inner motivation that comes from within. A good coach is there to see you, to look at, take you apart, and see where all the pieces are and what needs to be supported, help you to see it so that you make the changes, put it back together so you've up-leveled your belief system, up-leveled your self-identity, and you're taking it from there. That's the beauty of what a good coach can do. Okay, you guys, thanks for listening. Remember, work differently. Still got to work hard, but consider working differently than the majority. Be unique. Be a voice, not an echo. Okay, take care. Ciao.